Hello everybody and welcome to Vicky Pattison, The Secret To. This week I'm joined by super songstress, 1/5 of the most iconic girl group ever, an all-round Irish mega babe. It's Una Healy, everybody! Woo!
Hey! Oh, what a lovely intro.
Oh, honestly, before we go one step further, I would just like to address the elephant in the room. I've had a spray tan and I can't wash it off until later. So this is why I'm just... It's a little bit more mahogany than I like to be on my podcasts, and you look so gorgeous. So I just wanted to address the very, very orange elephant, which is me in this case.
Great.
Oh, thank you, mate. And thank you so much for agreeing to join me today. I know how busy you are.
I'm delighted to chat to you because I've been wanting to chat to you for so long. I'd love to meet you properly, obviously, because I feel like I know you, even though, like, I follow you on Instagram. I've watched you on TV for years. I've read your books. So I feel like I do know you, but I've not physically met you, which hopefully we will one day soon.
Oh, definitely. This little podcast chat is 110% a precursor to us becoming very best friends who see each other all the time.
Yay.
Your accent is so nice. I did my little obligatory research thing before I chatted to you, and I believe I found out you're from Tipperary. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, I'm from Tipperary in Ireland, which is it's like the largest inland county in Ireland. So I'm right bang in the middle of Southern Ireland.
And is it as pretty as it sounds? Because the name's lush.
Yeah, when I say I'm from Tipperary, a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's a long way," because there's a song called "It's a Long Way to Tipperary." Yeah, so it's like, all over the world, people kind of know, but they've no idea really where it is. But yeah, no, it is beautiful here. It's very green. It rains quite a lot, but it's my home, so I love it. Yeah.
And honestly, it took every inch of my self-resolve not to sing that to you as well. Like, I'm very familiar
I
with
did
the
it for
song.
you. I usually get it out of the way and just do it for everyone.
Yeah. Book it before anyone else can.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up somewhere like that? I imagine super idyllic, very traditional.
Yeah, it's beautiful here. I had a lovely childhood here in Tipperary in Ireland, and I made some really, really good friends, and that are still really good friends to this day, which is great. Like, now that I've come back to Ireland, I've reconnected really closely with them again. But yeah, I had a great childhood. It's quiet. It's a small enough town. It's like about 7,000 or 8,000 people. Yeah, I went to school here my whole life. Got involved. Was quite a competitive child. Got involved in the swim club when I was 4 or 5, and was a competitive swimmer. Joined the running club. So there was always like things to do, and I was very active. So yeah, I had a really lovely childhood here, and I'm back again. So all these years later,
Has it been an easy transition back? Are you enjoying it? Has it felt like home, or?
Yeah, it's always home. But like, I moved to the UK, well, for the Saturdays, in 2008.
Jesus,
and
mate,
I spent
so
I spent 12 years in the UK, and then when the pandemic hit, I was over in the UK, obviously all on my own. I didn't have a support network around me, so I made the decision when the second lockdown started. I was like, I can't stay here. It's too lonely. I'm too isolated. I need to get back to my family where I have that support. So that made the decision for me to come home. But I'm here still 2 years later. I didn't think that I'd stay here. I kind of felt it was kind of like a temporary kind of like transition for me. But it's just the kids have started school here and they're very happy. And when they're happy, I'm happy. So it's the perfect base for me to be here. And to have my parents around, because they're so amazing to help me with the children as well. So I'm back here and I can't see myself going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, honestly, I think, like, although the pandemic, and I say this a lot, it was horrible for so many reasons, and I struggled with certain elements of it. Like, it definitely showed me what I wanted out of life. And it weirdly, it wasn't all the fancy London restaurants and living life a million miles an hour. It was seeing more of my family. It was spending time with the people I cared about, So it sounds like you kind of had the same thought process.
Yeah, like, I personally, to be honest, I hated the lockdown. I found it really difficult. I was, especially the first one. I think everybody found it really strange, but I hate not being around people, and like, I'm just such a people's person. I love being around, being in the company of others. So I found it really hard, and yeah, it just made the decision for me to come home here to Ireland. But I had like set up home in the UK too, so I still call it my home from home. I'm back. Thankfully, I'm back on planes again, and I'm over and back quite a lot again. And I do my radio show, which is Absolute Radio Country, which I can do from home, but it is a UK station, so I still get to record it. and go over and back now, work back over there again. And I've made so many friends over there too. So I haven't lost touch exactly, you know, so they're so close. You can just head on a flight, it takes an hour, you know. So but yeah, no, I didn't enjoy lockdown whatsoever. I just found it really, really tough. Yeah, didn't like it.
I'm sure
I didn't really learn anything either. And also it didn't inspire, you know what I mean? Like all these, so many people go,
I didn't learn
really
fucking anything.
Yeah, I didn't fucking do it, but learn nothing. I was just feeling like shite most of the time, to be honest. Yeah, so I was, but coming home, it did actually, like, yeah, I got to see my friends again. I got to, like, you know, sneak down, like we were meant to have this thing, or you're not meant to go to someone else's house, but like we took the odd times in the dark, like knocking the doors, or we got a bottle of wine. Yeah, we'd like see each other and just like have the chats again. I was like, oh, thank God, I'm in company of people, you know. But yeah, no, I didn't like it. I didn't really learn anything. And I also didn't find it inspiring for me as a songwriter, because like I've been writing since I was 12 years old, and, you know, writing music and singing and performing are like just such a part of my DNA. So it wasn't great. I was doing a few kind of like Zoom sessions, and I tried to write as well over Zoom, and I just can't do that. Like I like to be in the room.
Not your creative process.
No, yeah. Sorry, I sound so negative about the pandemic, but the good news is it's over. So yay.
Honestly, mate, like I'm sure loads of people listening to this can not only relate, but will also appreciate your honesty. Like I always try and put a positive spin on some stuff, but I can just remember like feeling so lonely at certain times. And like I missed, so my sister had a little girl just before lockdown started, maybe. She had her in the January and didn't all get like locked up in sort of like the Feb, March. And I just felt like I was missing so much of these integral small moments. And
yeah,
luckily Mavie's a really like robust and very adventurous little girl, because I know a lot of children who were born in lockdown are very shy and have found adjusting difficult. So I can relate, mate. It didn't stop me writing songs. I've never wrote them before, but I did miss loads of Mavie's formative years, which was sad. So fuck me, honestly, Una. I think we all feel your pain.
yeah.
But it looks as though since then you've made up for lost time and absolutely not stopped. I had a little look on your Insta before, and obviously I know you to be like a very accomplished and busy woman, and I know we've done similar stuff. We both did like sport relief and things like that.
Yes, Team Blue as well.
Yeah. And honestly, I was like asking them before I did it, because I did the gymnastics and it was like the last one, and I was like, how we're getting, like, obviously I think in this industry, everyone has a little bit of competitive edge, don't they? We're here for a reason. And I was like, oh, how are we doing? How's the blue team doing? And they were like, we are behind, but Una Healy absolutely smashed the relay. Like, I don't know if you've, like, I don't know if you've ever seen her run. I was like, weirdly enough, I've never seen Una Healy run, but it was all that we talk about.
You just see every day. Yeah. No, I loved it. It was really fun, obviously, for such a great cause as well. But that competitive streak that I have, I got to get it back out again. I love running. I love keeping fit and everything. So yeah, I was just so eager to get out there and just sprint as fast as I could, which I did.
You did, you smashed it. And like, aside from that, you've got your radio show, you're also doing a spot of presenting now. I know you're back songwriting and nurturing your music career. What I really just wanted to ask is, are you tired? I was tired just from looking at your fucking Instagram.
Do you know, I managed to, like, it's the question, especially when you're like single mom and you're like, you know, I get asked it quite a lot, like, how do you juggle everything? But like my primary, you know, job in life is to look after my children. So yeah, they can tire me out at times, but they are at a really good age now. They're 7 and 10, but like literally their schedule is like what I go by. So everything that they're doing, I have to make sure that they're fed and watered and they're dropped to school and their lunches are in there and everything all like that. Like everything else I do aside from that, like it might even, as you know, because Instagram can be quite deceptive because it's not exactly everyone's entire day. If you could really see inside what my day is like, it's like 90% the kids and that little 10% is just me, you know. So like I have like a very fulfilled life and my children have provided me that, and like I'd be lost without them, to be honest, you know.
And honestly, like, they're so cute. I did have to have, again, a little Google on how to say their names right, because I was desperate to not get them wrong. And I think I've nailed it. So it's Aoife and Tag, almost?
Tig. Yeah,
Tig.
So it's like Tig. Yeah, Tig, you're close. Yeah. So Tig, Aoife and Tig. Tig is like pronounced like tiger without the R. Both Irish names. So
Was it really
they're so
important
cute.
to you to kind of like honor your sort of your culture, your upbringing, and give them Irish names, or were they just names you loved?
They're like, it was, I think it was my dad. We actually didn't really know what to call Aoife when she was just before she was born. And we had a few names in the pipeline. And then my dad mentioned Aoife, and then we both just said, and he actually, my ex-husband, he loved it as well. He's like, yeah. So even though he's English, he had no problem with it. He said, that's a beautiful name. And actually, Aoife means beautiful in Irish. So it was a no-brainer. We went with that. And then actually he suggested Ty for Tig. And I said, do you know that there's actually an Irish name called Tig?
Shoehorning it in there.
And he was like, yeah, why not? Yeah, it sounds great. So yeah, I didn't force the names on it. Like we both came up with them together, really, you know. And yeah, I think it's great now actually that they have them too. So because they actually don't have my second name, because they have their dad's second name. And sometimes like it's a bit awkward, you know, especially if you're checking them in somewhere, or if you're at the airport and you're like there, like I have to bring their birth certs every time I travel or fly, because I'm traveling with these two children with different surname to me, and like they are clearly my children, you know, but they might be like, you know, different surnames. So it is kind of nice for me that they have got Irish first names, you know.
Yeah. Do you know what? There's absolutely no mistake in Aoife for your little girl, though, mate. It's just the complete chip off the old block. Like, she's a mini me, isn't she?
Oh, she's the image of me. Like, I can even say that myself, because I look back at some pictures of when I was younger, and there was one that I showed it to Tig, and I was like, who's that? And he went, Aoife? And I was like, no, it's me.
It's Mummy.
So, yeah.
Is it Mummy? Is that Irish as well?
Yeah. Mammy. And they've got like, after 2 years here, especially Aoife, her accent is very strong Irish now. It's just like a hint of English in it, but Tig's is still quite half and half.
Little bit of both. Bless him. And I know I mentioned before you're a super busy lady, but it seems to me as though being a mummy is like the most fulfilling job of all for you.
Oh, it's the number one. Like, everything I do is for my kids, you know. And it's tough at times because I am the primary carer, and as I said, I had to move back here for the support system with my parents, so I can still work because I want to be an inspiration to my children. I have to put a crust on the table, so I have to stay working. And you know, I spent my whole life gearing up to what I do, and I'm very privileged to do what I do. And I never want to let that go. And obviously, to be honest, when the kids start school, like there are those hours in the day where you get to, you know, have your time back again. When they're very little, it's very, very hard to juggle both, but you do manage with help. I'm not gonna lie, you need the help.
Takes a village, as they say.
yeah, and take it when you get it as well. Whoever's offering to take it, you know. Yeah. But I also want to inspire them to work really hard and follow your dreams and all that sort of thing. So yeah, they're my everything. So everything I do is for them. Yeah.
Well, you can tell that, like, absolutely gorgeous. They seem so happy, so well adjusted. From the bits I've seen on your Instagram, they just look like they're having a really great life.
They are really, genuine. Like, when they moved back here first, they were a little bit unsettled, and I think anyone would be moving from a different country, leaving your friends. It just, in the pandemic, it was a strange time. We were stuck together all the time at home. But they're actually the happiest they've ever been right now, and that's what makes me happy.
Yeah. Oh, well, it would be it as well. I'm so pleased for you. And from what I've read, it does sound as though like Aoife's hoping to like follow in the old footsteps. There's a little bit of your daughter. She's a little bit of a drama queen.
Oh, she is a bit. She said she wants to be an actress. But I don't know. Like, I'm like, well, you're going to have to go to stage school for that, you know. And there isn't a stage school here in Thurles, but I just think, get your education. It's like my parents always said to me, get the education first, you know, and then do all the rest of it. But like for me, like I didn't actually start playing guitar and writing songs till I was 12, and she's still only 10. So I'm not going to push her into that sort of thing. And unless she really, really wants to do it, and I will support her on it if that is what she wants to do.
Yeah. Do you believe there's like an age where she should sort of like do all of academics and education until then she should make the decision?
Yeah. So see, well, I was writing and performing, and everybody knew in school that I was going to go on to do music, because I'd always be the one whipping out the guitar, like at any open day in school, or if there was ever a party or a function or anything, I'd be there, you know, with the guitar out.
You are that kid.
And the one like then that was in a little local rock band in town. So I knew that because I studied quite hard in school, I wanted to find something to fall back on. And my parents were very much like, yeah, do that. It's the sensible thing to do. So I tried a couple of avenues in life. Like, I was like, both vocations. So I tried nursing and I tried primary school teaching. and they didn't work out. And because I was dropping out, I felt very disheartened with life, going, oh, this is not what I'm not made, what am I made to do? And then my mother just said, you want to do music, don't you? You want to sing. So she was like, she said, give it 5 years and see what happens. So that's what I did. So, you know, the time comes, and it can happen at any time. You know, you don't have to start really young at anything. You can decide to do something that you love or pursue it at any time in your life, whenever it feels right for you. But like, I would never say there's a definitive time where you're like, this is the time I have to do it, because if it doesn't happen by this time, it will never happen. Because if I went past that 5 years, I wasn't going to give up. No way. I'd stay going. and I'll never give up, you know.
No, but why should you, on your dreams and stuff, you know? And I feel like looking at everything you're doing now, what you sort of, your goals, they've definitely diversified. You are now turning your hand at presenting on the 6 o'clock show as well, haven't you?
Yeah,
I love that show, Una. I've been on a
couple times. Have you been on? Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully you'll get on now sometime that I'm on.
No, I'd love to. And I've never been across and like actually sat in the studio and done it face to face. It's always been across Zoom. And my first time was like in the pandemic. And then the second time I did it really recently to talk about my documentary. So no, I'd love to get over and give it a good go, because it's you and Brian Dowling now, isn't it?
Yeah, we do some days together. They switch it around on Fridays. So I've been doing most Fridays for the last few months. But I started guest presenting, like even while I was in the Saturdays, I was coming over and back doing bits and presenting. I also did The Voice of Ireland. So I kind of like had got into TV over the last few years, but it's more and more these days, you know. But it's nice to do a few different things and keep your life diverse as well, isn't it?
Well, I suppose it keeps you on your toes. Like every day is like exciting, nothing's predictable. But is music still your first passion?
Oh yeah, it is, you know. Like I just love writing songs, love performing. And yeah, I'm bringing out a new song next month, actually, a song that I wrote originally when I was only 15 years old. And it was a very deep and meaningful song for a 15-year-old to write. I don't know why it was writing so like intense about life and about how important life is, and how, you know, you have to take the rough with the smooth and all that kind of thing. But I kept the song, and I actually demoed it a couple of times over the years. And it wasn't until the last year I was like, oh, I'm going to bring that song back out again. I feel it's a very important time to reflect on life and how amazing it is. And just to give hope to people as well, to listen to the lyrics, because I feel I've lived enough life now to be able to deliver that song with hopefully hope for some people, because my life has been very turbulent, you know. And I feel that if people listen to the lyrics of it, they will know that, like, yeah, there are struggles in life, and there's lots of paths you can take, and some that aren't so great, but you can come back from them and start another journey, another road, and it will lead to better things. You know, it's not all dead ends, you know.
I think when you're like 15, mate, I don't know, I'm making a sweeping generalization, but I felt like I had the monopoly on emotions. Like you feel everything really so intensely, don't you? That first heartbreak, nobody can ever, you just think nobody's ever felt as sad as I feel right now. The first time you fall in love, nobody's ever loved like I love. So it doesn't surprise me that you are writing with such like emotive stuff at that age. But it definitely feels as though, like, after all the life experiences and stuff you've had, and as we get a bit older, I don't know, we just are we have more experience to be able to talk on these things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's true, because I had a notepad beside my bed, and like every night I'd write down all these feelings and poems and just different things that I felt. Oh, this have to get this down because I'm feeling so intense about this. But I'm actually glad that I did that, because now I can look back on it and go, you know what, like I did have those feelings, but they were what they were at the time. They meant sort of slightly different than they do now. But yeah.
Oh, honestly, I can't wait to listen to it, mate. You sent it to us yesterday, and I had this moment just before it came on, and I thought I'd love to be able to talk to her in depth about the single, but hadn't I just had me fucking spray tan? And I thought, I know she's going to make me cry. I absolutely know this song will make me cry. And I thought, if it ruins this tan, I have to go to tomorrow with like streaks down my face, I'll be fuming. So top of the to-do list, Una. And honestly, I'm so pleased for you, mate.
So much.
You're so welcome. Well, that's the end of part one. I want to talk to you all about the Saturdays in part two, and a little rumour that I've heard about you potentially going in the jungle. Hello everybody, and welcome back to part two with Vicky Pattison, The Secret To. This week I'm joined by, do you know what, I'd probably say, Una, this is like a bit of an embarrassing thing to admit, but I like you this much, I don't mind saying it. You know when everyone says, oh, who's your dream dinner party guests and that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you'd be one of mine.
Oh, I think you'd be one of mine.
Do you think? Honestly, mate, I don't even. Yeah, that's what I think. And I feel, I love, making a sweeping generalization. I'm sure like the people of Ireland are probably groaning as they hear me say this, but I love Irish people. And like, I love you, mate. I love how transparent you are, how like supportive of other women. I love your work ethic. I don't know. I really, and I think we'd get drunk and have a laugh.
Oh, let's do it then. We'll organize it.
Yeah, let's make it less of a dream thing and more of like, let's make it.
It might just be me and you at the party. We don't have to invite anyone else, because the others are like, name 5. You're like, can I just have one to start with?
I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna have one, and it's going to be you, and we're gonna make it a reality.
Definitely.
Mate, I feel like we've probably not done this in the right chronological order, but I wanted to go back to your childhood. How you were sort of always knew you wanted to do something within like singing, songwriting, performing, that sort of thing. Did you know that from a really young age?
I guess from a very young age, because my mother was a semi-professional singer. She was a nurse, but she used to sing on the side. But her uncle, my uncle, her brother, Declan Nerney, he's a very well-known Irish country singer. So I grew up in a musical family, and going to all his gigs and everything. And it was, I was always singing into the tape recorder, like recording myself performing, doing shows for the family. But that was like me and my cousins and my sister and everyone. So it wasn't just me. But I'd always write little jingles as a child and make up little songs. And when I was 12, that's when I wrote my first proper song, when I started playing guitar. And it was about my grandfather that passed away, and it was called I Miss You. And then I got quite serious with the songwriting and was writing all about these feelings I had when I was like, feeling that I was falling in love for the first time, feeling like I'm being heartbroken for the first time. Then my friends used to come to me and tell me their stories, and I'd write for them about their relationships. So there was always something to write about. So yeah, like I kind of like, it was more swimming though. I was a competitive swimmer, All Ireland champion swimmer as a child. So I was heavily involved in the pool. So music really only kind of really took off for me, I guess, when I was, started playing and writing when I was 12.
Una, you don't do things by halves either, do you?
No.
Like if you're going to do something, you're going to be like balls to the wall, flat out. Yeah.
Go for it, like you have to, and just to like and always, dust yourself off and try again. Don't give up on it, because nothing worth it comes easy, ever. Nothing. Well,
that's really true. How did the Saturdays come about? Because that's predominantly very English, and obviously we're living in Ireland at the time, or were you already moved over?
So I had been gigging around Ireland for years. Well, like maybe I was actually 25. So this is why I say to anyone out there, like, you don't have to be a certain age to join a certain group. I remember actually seeing the advert, and I was delighted that it wasn't ageist, because it said looking for female vocalists aged between 18 and 28. And I was like, isn't that lovely? I'm just near the end, but anyway, I can go for it. I was like, imagine if it said 18 to 24.
I know.
I'd have been like, I can't even audition for it. So I thought that was really generous of them at the time, because it was kind of still around that time. It was 2007 when, back in the 90s, everyone thought you were past it at 21. So, which the world has changed so much, since then. And even like everything in life, like people are embracing their lives at all ages.
So it does feel like we're moving on a bit, doesn't it? Like I remember there was that overs section on the X Factor, and
that's a total example of, I would have been overs probably then. At 25, which is so young,
it would have. I remember when I got, it was like 25, 26.
Think about it, it's terrible, isn't it?
Isn't it terrible?
But still got it.
No, but I can remember my sister turned to me once, and it was on a birthday or something. I think I was like feeling a little bit delicate, so it might have been the day after. And I remember saying, "Oh, that's it, mate." She's like, "If you were on X Factor now, you'd be in the same category as Wagner." Can you remember him?
Yeah, I know. It's really, that wasn't right at all. But you're like, loads of those shows where there was so many things about them that weren't right. We've all moved with the times. But I was delighted with that I did make it into the category, and luckily made it into the group as well. But I had done so many years of gigging around and written so many songs at an EP that I took to the audition with me. I was very prepared, I feel, at the time. So when I went, I didn't expect to get in, but there was a few series of rounds. It wasn't a televised audition like X Factor or anything like that. But yeah, it just worked out for me. I was in the right place at the right time. It was the right group, because like I'm sure this group's been put together all the time, but it was just like the right formula. And yeah, just went for it and sang a couple of songs. I've been gigging, so I was really confident with them as well. So I wasn't scared, because I used to audition for things and like the nerves would get the better of me. And when you're nervous and you try to perform in an audition situation, it's like you're being tested, and you just like, I completely would lose my voice, and it would just be like, and my legs would be shaking. And it's like, obviously you're not going to get in singing like that, you know what I mean? So like that's why, yeah, the years of the gigging in pubs and clubs and restaurants and all sorts, and people shouting all sorts at me, stood to me. So when I stood up and actually got to perform, I was like, yes, I'm actually doing what I love, and I get to perform it, and rather than feel like I'm being tested.
So in that sense, like being that even just that little bit older, it really worked in your favor. You know, you'd had time to hone your craft, like maybe get a handle on your stage fright, and really know that this was what you wanted. You were ready.
I was ready then, because I think if I had got into groups before, which I did audition for other things, it wasn't my first rodeo. Do you know what I mean? I'd auditioned for the Irish Pop Stars when I was 19. I got down to the last 32 of that. I wouldn't have been ready if that had gone places, that group. I feel I was too young. I was a bit, naive and all that. And I also didn't have the experience. So I went out and I went a different route, grafted, and just lived a bit of life.
Paid your dues as well, so to speak.
Yeah. And I enjoyed that part of it too. I have to say, like, absolutely loved it. It was all part of my journey. And that's why I say in life, like all the different roads you take, they're all part of who you are. And some good and not so good, but it's what it makes you like.
Yeah, you mentioned just before there about them getting the formula of the Saturdays right, and like I've probably got to agree with you. I feel like over the years, and I'm a huge girl band fan, Saturdays, girls allowed, like you name it, I love it. But I do feel like you guys were the most unproblematic. Like you never, maybe I'm just a bit ignorant to it, but I never really read about fallouts or bitchiness. Like it seemed like there was a real unity.
Yeah, we got on really, really well. And the five of us, we all did. Frankie and Rochelle had been in S Club Juniors together, so they already knew each other, but it never felt like, oh, it was us and them. We all started this new group, whatever that formula was. It was a whole new thing. I was like, I think maybe because I was Irish and a little bit older, moving across, it was a good time for me to move, because I was totally ready to fly the nest at that stage, at 25. So I was like, yeah, I did get a little bit homesick at the start, though, I have to admit. And then, so Molly and Vanessa we all had something very different, each one of us, and it just worked, and we did get on really, really well. And we never had those horrible fights that you'd hear about girl bands or just bands having. Like, we didn't have the major bust ups, and we're just really lucky, very lucky, because you spend so much time together as well. Like, you're literally in that little Viano car driving around all 12 hours a day together, every day. So it just worked.
Yeah, and I know that, like, I know when I was younger, and it was like the Spice Girls when I was little, and I remember growing up and thinking, like, when I grew up, I really wanted to be in a girl band and stuff. And you see all the glamorous bits, like you see the Top of the Pops and the gorgeous matching outfits and the glitz and the glamour and all that.
Yeah,
but you don't necessarily get especially back in the day, they didn't lift the lid and show you the long hours and
the long hours,
homesickness and stuff like that. So it is a bit of it's a hard slog. What was your favorite bits of being in a girl band, and what was the hardest?
I'll just be honest, my experience of it, I loved every single bit of it. And I'd go back and relive the whole lot of it again if I could. That's the truth. I loved it that much. Like, I was totally living the dream. Like, to have your schedule sent to you every day, you just have to turn up and work hard and get to wear all those amazing outfits and get to perform on all these stages and get to like sing. I listen back to people always remind me of the Mega Mix. Apparently it's the one to listen to if you want to get like a good Saturday's fix. And I'm there listening to it, going, I actually put it on the gym the other day, and I was just like working out, going, woo, yeah.
Oh, but
I'm still so proud of it. Like, it's great music. Like, it really is, and it's quite timeless. Like I just loved it. I know, and I'm not just saying that. That was my experience. I know it's not everyone's, but that was mine, and I just loved it.
But I mean, that's amazing, mate. And it is, like, I'm a huge Saturdays fan. It's feel good, like, it's feel good pop. And like, that's where my heart lies. It really
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's like there's so many elements to pop music too, because we had like the kind of dancey tracks, and then we had the ballads as well. So we kind of mixed it up.
Yeah. You did. What's your favorite Saturday song of all time?
Oh, it's hard.
It's a tough
Like
one.
that's a very tough one. Probably, probably a mixture. I either. Oh, I think I can't. It's like picking. It's like
I was going to say, it's like
deeper
Sophie's
time.
choice.
I do love like automatic, all fired up, fire.
Yeah.
And issues. Oh, I could go on.
The list is endless. No, but
Yeah.
I love that you're still sort of passionate about it, and the journey was like, I love that it was just beautiful for you, you know, and there's not any great big like hiccups or anything.
No.
What was the moment for you when you thought, fucking hell, we've made it here? Was there
There was
something
a few of them actually. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
like, well, we ultimately we always did very well in the charts, and we were number 2 a few times. We never had a number 1 until we had one with What About Us and Sean Paul. So that was the ultimate cherry on top for us. But that was kind of coming towards the end of the Saturdays at the time. You know, I'm not going to say the end of the Saturdays at the time, because we were still on a hiatus apparently. So
could come back at any time.
back anytime, like so many do, you know.
Yeah. You're not wrong, mate.
But yeah, no, coming back home to my hometown here in Thurles and performing with the girls, they found it hilarious, because I was like, oh, that's where I went to school. Oh, I have to show you the best chips in town are. Or you have to eat these crisps. Or you have to, you know, and that performing and looking out and seeing heads that I recognized in the audience, like, oh, I went to school with you. Hey, you know, that was a kind of really special moment. Yeah, I think that was probably my proudest moment. Yeah.
Oh, I love that, mate. And I always like, I feel like I never, and I mentioned this before, you know, it didn't feel like there was ever any real drama with you guys, but it does feel as well that you are all still so supportive of each other. And like, there's a real sisterhood, which, like, as a woman in this industry, like, I think we're seeing more and more of it, you know, girls like building each other up and supporting each other and having each other's backs. But back when, like, sort of you first started, that was quite rare.
Oh, it has definitely everything. Just life is so different. We always supported each other within the group as well. But I'm so proud when I see the girls how well they're doing. They're all individually, they've carved out such a great career for themselves. And every time I see them doing anything, like I still feel like, because I'm always in my head a Saturday for life, you know. And they are. When I say you're still a Saturday, you know. And that gave us that amazing launch pad for whatever we wanted to do. Like, it really did. You really want to do something, like we have to look back and know, and that we owe the Saturdays that, you know. So, but I am so proud to see how well that they're all doing. Yeah.
And it does feel like you sort of have all carved out something like different for yourselves, you know.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to see you all flourishing like within whatever like arena you've chosen. Do you still keep in touch with all the girls?
Yeah, we do. We keep in touch, and I met with Molly recently. She's pregnant.
I know.
And I've tried to meet the others as well, which I'm going to do. Like, when I get back to London, I could really want to see them. We don't get to see each other as much as we'd like to, you know, get together. But the number one asked question I get is, so when are the Saturdays getting back together? Or are they, you know, get asked it all the time. But there isn't any plans at the minute.
Yeah.
But I would hope that we would one day do something. It would be such a shame not to, you know.
It would be, mate, especially because like there's no hard feelings. You've all gone on to like do brilliant things in whatever area like you've chosen, and also you've remained really close.
Yeah, I'd love to do something again. Now, it wouldn't be the same intensity as it was back then, but we could just do a version of it. Definitely, I'd love to.
Oh, and did you give obviously Molly's pregnant, like you mentioned, did you give her any advice? Is she that excited? How's she coping?
She's so excited. She was looking great. Now, this was like maybe 6 weeks ago, and she was just she was just taking it all in her stride. There's not really much tips I can give, and you know, it just feels like so long ago since I was pregnant. I was like, how many years ago was that? She goes, it was 11 years ago that you were pregnant with Aoife. I was like, oh, imagine that. Like that, it's just, the time is just flying by. And I actually did my tour, two arena tours, pregnant with both Aoife and Tide, like quite out to here. So I think she goes, you did that tour as pregnant as I was now? And I said, yeah. And she was like, oh yeah. So she was like, how did you do that? And I said, just do, like, being pregnant is not an illness, you know. And yeah, she's doing great. So really excited for the baby now.
Oh, mate, it's absolutely lush. Like, did you honestly
Mm.
ever think when you saw that like advert in the paper that you'd
Mm.
be where you are now, you know, like this gorgeous group of like 4 girl mates who you all support each
Mm.
other, all these amazing hits under your belt, having worked with the incredible people that you have, and
Yeah.
now being able to do all these wonderful things, whether it's like designing your own shoes, whether it's like being on the radio, being on TV. Did you ever
Mm.
anticipate this would be where your life would go?
No, I'd never have guessed. It was always something that I could see myself doing, but never to the extent that it went, and it's do that I far I've come. I feel very proud of everything I've achieved, but I have to say I've worked very, very hard for it,
Yeah.
and as part of a team. Me and the girls, we were a team, and but everything we've done since, it's all down to ourselves, and good management and good friends and good family. Yeah, I've it's they're all part of it too. You have to still have that little determination inside, don't you?
Yeah. Oh,
They just
definitely. Hard
just
work.
work, hard work. Yeah, just it's not going to land on your lap.
Is there anything else is there anything where you feel like I'm still desperate to achieve that, to tick it off the bucket list?
Yeah, you see, I went to this workshop recently. Everyone's chatting all about manifestation now, aren't they? It's become such a thing.
I've seen as well that you went to
Yeah,
Roxy Fusi's, like,
yeah,
and we've had her on the podcast. I'm a huge fan of Roxy. I think
yeah.
she's
Oh, she's
great.
unbelievable. Yeah, so
Love what she does.
I love that. So we was there with my friends, and then she said, "Okay, take out," because I'd read her book as well. She said, "Take out your notepads. Okay, now write down 6 things that you would like to happen in the next 12 months." And then I was here like this, and I didn't have a notepad, but my phone. I was like, and I didn't want, it's so personal, because you could have these goals that people go cringe. You think you're going to get that?
Yeah. But that's what
have to, like,
manifestation all is, isn't
yeah,
it? Getting it, putting it out there.
putting it out there, but being realistic as well. Like, you can't just be like, I want to win the lotto. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, if you do, okay, put it down, because
Yeah.
you do, but you're going to have to do it every week.
Yeah.
Never forget.
There
And
has to
probably
be
put
a
a lot of money
plan.
into it. Yeah, that's a bit of a plan. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's I don't even know where I was going with that. What was I saying about anything I want to do? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so like I actually went home that night and I wrote down a list of 5 things, because I haven't really done that before. I haven't done. I'm trying it out now. We'll see. We'll look back in 12 months and see if these things happen. But they're all quite things that could happen.
Yeah.
But you have to be conscious of them every day, I guess, to kind of start getting there. You can't just be like, I want to go from here to here. You have to just putting the plans in place. So I have a few goals in mind, and we'll see if they happen.
Oh, mate, well, honestly, I've got everything crossed for you. And someone like you who has achieved so much and is still so determined, is managing to juggle like a really like full and successful like professional life, but also with being like, a mother and stuff. I feel like the sky's the limit, mate, and whatever you set your mind to, you will achieve. I'm so excited for your new single coming out. That's the 13th of October, is that right?
Yes, it's coming out 3 days after my birthday.
So, oh God, all happening for you then, Petal, isn't it?
Yeah, very excited for it now. Can't wait.
Best of luck with it, Una, and I can't wait to listen to it. And before I let you go, here at Vicky Pattison, The Secret To, we always ask our gorgeous guests to give our lovely listeners a couple pearls of wisdom. And it feels as though you have, without a doubt, been like the master of your own destiny. You've made things happen in your life, you've chased your dreams, and you are like always pushing yourself. And you've done things your own way, which I think is beautiful too, So I just wanted to know what your secret was to writing the lyrics to your own life.
Well, nobody can write them for you.
Well, very good fucking point, mate.
Yeah, you are like the song, This Is Your Life, this is your life, your one and only life. Like, we have only got one life. That's it. We don't, and there's so much we can do with it, and that's it. Dream big and follow your dreams and all that. Like, and just take the rough with the smooth, because there's one lyric in my song as well that's my favorite lyric is, won't know peace if you don't know pain. If you want a rainbow, you got to let it rain.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful and so true. That really resonates with me. Like, I think in life you have to have light and shade. And it's exactly like you can't enjoy the good times and things like that if you've never known a little bit of struggle. So
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Totally. To appreciate things, you have to go through some bad times. But I think everybody, you don't know, like this is the thing as well with social media, and that you don't really know. Some people are just very, very private and also shy and don't want to share their struggles, and they keep it away from that. And you see this really perfect life on the likes of Instagram or whatever, TikTok. But that mightn't be the reality at all. And so you just have to understand that as well, and never, for no one to put that pressure on themselves to feel that every day has to be amazing, because days, I have loads of days where I'm like, oh my god, I feel absolutely shit today. This is a shit day. Life is shit. And I have lots of them.
yeah.
Kind of like, I feel I'm quite shy when it comes to that, like going on or talking about it, because I feel a bit like embarrassed, so, but I'll be honest, I'll here now and say that I have, and I tend to, I go quiet on those days. I just feel like I've nothing to say.
Everyone has their own everyone has their own process though, like,
yeah, they do. And it's great to be, for some to share it, to be, so people can relate to it and go, do you know what, isn't that great? Because I'm having a shit day.
But Erkan, my partner, he's very like you. Like he will he will shut down, and like I'll be like, I'm a sharer, so I'm like, can we talk about it, please? A problem shared is a problem hard. And he's like, he needs to get his head around his own pain and his own hard moments and stuff before he can share. So no, I know we've all got different ways around it and stuff. It's about respecting other people's processes, isn't it?
And it's also just very important to talk about your feelings to your friends and your family, or to someone. Don't hold it inside to yourself. Always talk to someone, no matter how bad or insignificant you think it is. If there's something really bothering you, always go to someone, because you can't really figure it out in your head, I find. And I'm great to dish out the advice, but I can't take my own. So no,
I'm a bit the same. I'm always on hand with like a really cheesy Instagram quote or some like firm advice, like fucking finish him, you're too good for him anyway. But I'm taking it myself, mate. I'm terrible. I'm such
exactly
a hypocrite. Oh babe, it's been so lovely talking to you, Una. I wish you every success with your new single, and thank you so much for taking the time to chat with it today.
Thanks, and hopefully we'll catch up soon in reality.
I'm holding you to that dinner party.
We are.
What's happening?
Too.
Thank you, babe.
Oh, thank you so much.